Yo, what's good? It's your homeboy T-Pain. Right now, at this very exact moment, you plugged in with Jay.
Plugged in with Jay right now. This is Jay O'Man.
Turn up.
My boy Jay Perry.
You're listening to my boy, Jay the Plug.
My boy, Jay the Plug.
You're listening to my boy, Jay the Plug.
You're listening to my boy, Jay the Plug.
You're listening to my boy, Jay the Plug.
Jay the Plug.
You got many winners for many moons. You're listening to my boy, Jay the Plug.
Get plugged up, everybody.
What is good, ladies and gentlemen? I, of course, am Jay the Plug. Welcome to another episode of Plugged In with Jay. I am here with Mr. Trent Sieg, long snapper for the Las Vegas Raiders. I still have trouble not saying Oakland or LA. So
That doesn't hit the ear quite right, does it?
How you doing, my man?
I'm doing well. I'm glad to finally get in contact with you and get this going.
Yeah, for sure, dude. I can't tell you how much I appreciate you being on the show. I know it's been kind of hectic. So, and I know you're a busy guy, so I'll get this started real quick and we'll get this knocked out and you'll get on with the rest of your day. Sound good?
Yep. Sounds great.
Cool. Are you in training camp right now?
No, we end up reporting on the 27th. We have a little bit of off time right now. And my sister got married last week. My wife's a bridesmaid in 2 other weddings here this month. So we're just trying to cram all that in. I've been back and forth from Nevada, California, Colorado, just all over the place right now.
Man,
So,
congratulations to sis, man. That's awesome. Good
Yep.
for her.
yep, she's the last one to get married off. So my parents are free.
Oh, the last one.
Yep.
How many siblings do you have?
I got an older brother, younger sister.
Oh, great. Yeah. I have a older sister. It was kind of hell growing up, man. I don't know what it's like having an older brother. I always wanted a brother, but I heard it's a lot
we made
easier.
it hell for our little sister. So she's a little bit more masculine than a lot. Just because of me and my brother picking on her. So
It's a lot tougher.
yeah.
I got you. All right, man. Well, first things first, you're a big supporter of the Fletcher Foundation. It's a fantastic cause. I've looked it up, but go ahead and tell everybody a little bit about it.
Yeah. So we actually came across the Fletcher Foundation, we being my wife and I, during the season around October. We actually ended up suffering through a miscarriage, and just through that, like, terrible heartbreak, just kind of probably the toughest thing we've ever gone through as a couple. And as we were going through, we had to go to the emergency room, and like those bills just kept piling in for the next couple months. And not only does it kind of reopen the wound a little bit, but they're also kind of taking some money at the point. Unfortunately, we're in an area in life where we can absorb it. But we just started thinking about all the people who might be suffering through the same thing and might not necessarily have the same resources to be able to withstand themselves. So that's when my wife found the Fletcher Foundation, and they're kind of like a smaller foundation that we really agree with their mission statement. They go through and that they're trying to provide financial resources for people who have gone through miscarriages or stillbirths. They do that, as well as provide some more emotional support in kind of professional areas. And they send out little gift boxes, kind of just to provide some support. And so we just kind of really connected with them. We've got to know the people behind that foundation a little bit, and they're great people. And spiritually we kind of line up a little bit too. So we appreciate that aspect of it too. They don't necessarily push the religious side of it, but that's definitely something that helped my wife and I through the process for sure. And it's just a way that we're trying to help other people out that are going through that same issue.
Wow, man, that's awesome. I got to be honest, before I started looking up some of the information, and I found out about the Fletcher Foundation after looking up some information on you, because I try to do my studying before I get y'all on there. Right. I just learned about it. That's pretty incredible. My wife and I, we tried, and then we went through the adoption stuff, and that's rough too. They have this law in Texas where within 6 months, even after you sign adoption papers, they can come take the baby away if there's immediate family and stuff. So that was pretty tough too, but I can't imagine the hardship of going through a miscarriage. That's tough, man. But that's an awesome cause. Is there a website that you can tell the people where to go check it out?
It's just the FletcherFoundation.org. I'm pretty sure it's .org. I've got it all over my social media. Let me double check.
Okay. I'm sure you can Google Fletcher Foundation as well. It'll probably pop up there pretty quick.
Yeah, it's the FletcherFoundation.org. If you Google Fletcher Foundation, it's just the second one down.
Absolutely.
And yeah, they kind of, the people running it went through the same process. Like they had a miscarriage, and kind of their baby's name was going to be Fletcher, so they named it after them. And yeah, it's just kind of, they're great people trying to help out any way they can. And that it's kind of one of the crazy things, like talking to them. And my wife and I have actually been very open about it on social media, on our process and everything that we've gone through, and just the outflow of support, and just really people sharing their story with us too. Like I had no idea it was such a common thing until it happened to us, and kind of, it's just something that honestly people don't talk about a lot, and we're trying to normalize it a little bit so that people don't feel as alone when they're going through it.
Absolutely, man. That's just awesome. Awesome. That's really cool. Y'all are doing that. And Fletcher Foundation, everybody take a look at Fletcher Foundation. If there's any way to get on there and help, anything like that, that's a fantastic cause. So take me through your football life, man. I know in high school you crushed it. College you did well. I mean, I know that you played other positions as well, which seems to be the case with most people I talk to. So take me through that. I know. Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah. So, I mean, I've played football as long as I can remember. Like I joined flag football when I was like 5 or whatever, and just kind of went up through the process there. Always kind of played like the defensive end, tight end. Grew up in a small town, and not a ton of players out here. So I was fortunate enough to get to play both sides of the ball, and really never really had to come off the field. So it was always entertaining. And then around middle school time, my dad started having me start trying to long snap. Kind of told me like, who knows, might pay for college one day. Like he played Division II football at St. Cloud State, so he kind of had a little bit of the idea of how it all works. And he's like, oh, these snappers over here, like they don't have it so bad. So we just add that to the resume, especially coming from a small school. It's tough to get recruited. It's just kind of something I could add on, like, well, I could come potentially play tight end or defensive end for you, and long snap at the same time, maybe save a spot. So yeah, kind of went up through high school. Like you said, I played defensive end, linebacker, kind of depending on whatever defense we ran that year, and then played some tight end. Ended up being all state on the defensive side of the ball. I went to CSU as a preferred walk-on, as mostly a long snapper is how they wanted me, but also like I talked to them a lot, and they liked me as a tight end a little bit too. So got there, was playing tight end, snapping kind of, and football practice at that level is a little bit different than it was in high school as far as the intensity. So like I remember like it's probably like the 5th day of my first training camp, like first time really doing 2 days or anything. Like that wasn't a thing at my high school, just because we didn't have enough kids and they didn't want kids to quit. So, but like I'm just absolutely gassed when we get to special teams period. I put like 2 or 3 balls over the punter's head, and like I'm sitting there thinking I'm about to get cut. Like, and so I kind of took a step back, looked at it. My quickest way to earning a scholarship was through long snapping. So step back from the tight end, really focused down on snapping, and really kind of been able to learn. I learned a lot from the snapper who was there before me, but also just kind of make it my own too. Cause I think I have kind of an unorthodox technique when it comes to snapping. Like I'm not completely out there, but I just do a few little quirky things that not a lot of guys do, but seems to work for me. So I'm just riding this snapping thing as long as it'll take me. So
there you go, man. Yeah. So the small town you say that you're from, what's the name of that town again?
Eaton, Colorado.
Eaton, Colorado.
Right now, actually, yeah.
Right, and you actually were friends with friend of the show, Austin Eckler, correct?
Yep. Austin was one of my best friends growing up.
Yeah, y'all were born like 2 days apart.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he was our running back, ran all over the Patriot League, and it's just been awesome to see how he's developed as a player. And
Yeah.
he, like I said, hard to get recruited out of this town, but so he ended up going D2, and that was like the only place that would want him as a running back. And here he is now, freaking
Yeah, look at
basically
him
Charger.
now. Look at him now. Speaking of
Yeah.
which, yeah, I'm doing a league for fantasy football, this charity league. So I'm
You got the Austin Eckler Foundation shirt on. I like it.
But enough about him. You also earned all Colorado and all conference honors as a linebacker, which you were saying you were playing, some defense depending on what your schemes were as a linebacker. Yeah. So whenever you were in college, did they have you play as a line? Did you just mention that they had you playing on defense or just long?
I played a little bit as a tight end.
Tight end.
My redshirt year, as I was like going through and practicing, and then I stepped back, or I wanted to play the offensive side of the ball a little bit more, but yeah, that was short-lived. Really focused on snapping.
So you lettered in baseball and basketball as well. I mean, and you were saying that your dad played football D2, correct? Is that?
Yep.
Was he the deciding factor for you to choose football over those those other sports, or?
No, football was kind of really my love. Like baseball, I really liked growing up. Just kind of as I got more into high school and into like football culture, and like I liked the physical aspect of going out there and being able to like physically just go one-on-one versus opponent, like you versus me right here, Right. Baseball I still really enjoyed. It just doesn't have that like emotional level or connection to me. Basketball, I played center and I'm like 6'3", so that just wasn't going to go anywhere. But yeah, I did look at playing a little bit of baseball in college too. I actually looked at trying to be a two-sport athlete at a couple D2 schools, and kind of figured between that and I wanted to study engineering that being a two-sport athlete and studying engineering just probably wasn't very feasible. So I really focused in on football.
Gotcha. And then you signed with the Ravens as an undrafted free agent. Take us through where you're how you got to where you're at right now in the NFL.
Yeah. So my senior year, or I guess I'll take you back to my junior year. My junior year, we had a punter on our team who was like one of the top punters in the nation, Ray Guy finalist. And he ended up getting a couple mini camps and never really got too much of a shot really. And that's where kind of being a specialist, a lot of it comes down to timing really. And unfortunately he just hadn't really gotten the timing down. So the end of my senior year, I was like, well, if he didn't get a shot, I don't know how much of a shot I have, because he had all the stats and the hype and everything behind him. But or his name's Hayden Hunt, and he's one of my best friends. But yeah, just kind of watching that. So I'm like, all right, well, I'm gonna give it all I have, get ready for pro day, go to this Zahner camp. Zahner's kind of the guy, or one of the guys who helps specialists get to the pros. Like he's like a specialist consultant essentially. Like a lot of teams go to him and say like, all right, who's coming up, and he kind of gives coaches an idea of who to look at and who he likes. So I was like, I'll do everything I can, get ready for his camp, get ready for pro day, and just ride this out as long as I can, but we'll just see how it goes. And luckily I went had a perfect day at his camp, it was a top scorer for snappers there. And I was like, all right, well, I'm actually going to get a shot at this. And the Ravens ended up calling me up, and they were playing in the Hall of Fame game that year. And that was one of the reasons that I ended up going there, because they promised me I'd play the whole Hall of Fame game myself, and then the last game myself. And then we had 3 other games that I'd split time with Morgan. And Morgan was one of the best snappers in the league, and it was just really an opportunity to go and learn and get good film, which really, as a specialist or as an incoming long snapper, pretty much all you can ask for is getting good film for your first preseason. So I really took advantage of that. Learned from the guys over in Baltimore. Morgan was awesome to learn from. He really took me under his wing, and we're still pretty good friends. And I have, or back home, I have one of his jerseys. Like, so we did a jersey swap when we played, and
It's awesome.
just kind of cool to be around him. Yeah, so kind of knew I wasn't going to beat him out, unfortunately, just because he's like was a perennial Pro Bowler and like one of the best in the league at what he does. So,
Right.
um, so I ended up getting cut. I remember spending that first weekend back here actually on my parents' couch, or I could barely watch football on Sunday because I just had a little chip on my shoulder, like thinking like I should be out there, like this is a bunch of crap. But yeah, so we're just kind of watching games, and actually that week 2 snappers ended up getting hurt. One was John Denny and one was Andrew DePola. Denny was in Miami and DePola was with the Raiders. So that Miami actually they had another snapper during preseason that they ended up bringing in and signing to their practice squad while they figured out what was going on with Denny. And then I ended up going with the Raiders, so it was kind of like either Dolphins or Raiders that week. And then I ended up going to the Raiders, where Paul had torn his ACL, and I ended up winning the job through the tryout and sticking on through the season and competing with him the next year, and ended up winning the job. And Depot's an awesome dude too. He was great while I was there. Like I learned a lot of how to be a pro from Morgan, and then from Depot I learned how to like prepare for the regular season, because preseason and regular season are like 2 completely different animals. But yeah, so he's on with Minnesota right now, and yeah, still like to say I'm good friends with both the guys I've been in competition with. So I think we have a good I've always had a good let the results lie where they are, like not going to hold any grudges, like just the best man win,
Yeah, absolutely.
So, yeah.
So go ahead, man. I'm sorry. I thought you were
I was gonna say, and I'm just trying to hold on for dear life now. Never know when that guy's coming for me.
Do you have a lot of guys coming through for the long snapper job you got to worry about?
So I've only had one other guy while I've been here. His name's Liam McCullough. He's on the team right now, and I'm trying to take him under my wing a lot, like how Morgan did with me, and he's kind of teach him how to be a pro. And like I like to see people do well at the position, and I mean, if he takes my job, he takes my job. But yeah, like football's ultra meritocracy. So like if I'm not performing, it's either going to be him or someone else, and I'd rather have it be someone I know a little bit and that I'd like to see succeed.
Yeah, absolutely, man. That speaks to you as a person too, man. Just wanting the team to get better as well. It's ultimate teammate.
Right.
Congrats on your contract extension too, though.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I'm excited to have a little bit of stability. Contracts don't mean a ton in the NFL, but a 3-year contract feels a lot better than a 1-year contract. So
yeah,
my wife and I can finally settle down a little bit and take a deep breath and not be worried about moving every year. So
yeah, I got you, man. Congrats. It's excellent.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
What kind of training do long snappers go through? I've always been curious because you'll see some, like, movies don't really tell you much of anything. Like whenever they tell the kickers, take a lap, go run. Okay.
Right.
But what else? What is it that y'all do? I can imagine you did, taking the ball, snap it into, like those nets with the holes at the, with the accuracy for the quarterbacks. I mean, is it something like that?
Yeah, I have done some of that. And honestly, I like to think I'm the football player of the specialists. Like AJ and Daniel kind of do their own thing, but I still like kind of have to do some football stuff, as in like blocking and like covering the field a little bit. So I like to train like sort of like I'm a linebacker. It's tough for me to keep up with those guys. They're a whole nother level of athlete, but yeah, I do. Like in the weight room, I'm usually lifting kind of with the linebackers a little bit, and I'll do a little bit more like specialized stuff because I have a very like specialized movement pattern that I do to snap the ball. So I'll just do some like things to specifically open up my hips in that way. And yeah, I mean, really, I just go out and snap the ball a ton. I don't. Yeah, like you said, if I'm by myself, I'll snap it into a net, like kind of with one of those little holes and try to put it in there. For the most part, AJ, Daniel, and I all try to make our schedules work together so we can go out and train together. So whenever I'm snapping, AJ's catching, and like I can, or AJ gets used to what I'm doing, and he can tell me if I'm a little off on the day or what I need to do to make his job easier, essentially. So we've got a good group of us that we like to work together and hold each other accountable, and there's no one ever gets upset about it. So it's a good time.
Yeah, that's great, man. But now, and I've been curious, like, so anytime I see someone snap the ball, where does it need? I mean, does it need to be like right, like in the numbers? What's the best spot?
So it kind of depends on the punter as far as what they want. As a general rule of thumb, like here, I'll stand up so you can see. General rule of thumb, you don't want them to flip their hands over. So kind of like that nipple line is where like the height, like as high as you want to go. Because whenever they have to flip their hands over, it slows down the op time. And so like I try to go from like mid thigh to like bottom of the rib cage. I consider a pretty good snap because AJ doesn't like to bend over to catch it.
Sure.
And then he's got to stand back up. So really kind of that mid thigh, bottom of the rib cage, and on the body, so he doesn't have to step like side to side to catch it. So yeah, it's kind of like a baseball strike zone. So some guys like to catch it down at their knees because it gets them going forward, or some guys actually like flipping their hands. But general rule of thumb, AJ's pretty stereotypical with what he likes, so it makes my job easy. I don't really have to change when I work with other punters. So
that's awesome, man. I've always been curious because I see it go all over the place. But so you want to make sure that your punter is going to catch it exactly what he wants. So every punter is different, I guess. I'm sure.
Right.
So like how he wants it to be where he catches it underhanded to where that way he's already moving forward and stuff. So that's pretty awesome. Yeah, I want to put out a petition for any of the long snappers that make it into the Pro Bowl that y'all get involved in the skills. Like I want to put to where, you know what I'm talking about, where you're talking about you put it into one of those little holes. I'm going to start that. Like everybody needs to sign up.
How the kickers do tic-tac-toe on the field goal.
Yeah. Something y'all need to get put in there, man. Y'all get voted in. Y'all got to get. We
got to figure out something to make it more exciting. Get kids excited about being long snappers.
I'll tell you right now, I'll watch it for sure because that's impressive. Because I remember just playing yard ball, man, and if I was ever snapping the ball, geez, I mean, you're lucky if you get it in your hands. I just kind of throw it back, and I blame it on them if they don't get it. We'll catch the ball. Yeah,
get you in the hands, right?
No, mine wouldn't even get there, man. It's terrible. So you've been in the NFL for how many seasons now?
So this will be year 4. Yeah. So finish 3 going into 4.
Awesome, man. Do you have any stories that you'll never forget so far? I know you're fairly young in the league and everything. You got 3 more years extended with the Raiders, which is awesome. I'm just curious. I always ask this question. This is one of the hardest questions for anyone to answer because there's so many different memories. Do you have anything that you wax nostalgic on that's happened in the NFL so far? Locker room?
Yeah. So I've got a few that kind of stick out in my mind. Like, remember, so my rookie year, we actually had 2 game-winning field goals. Like those 2, I'm never going to forget. Like we weren't very good my rookie year, but so those wins meant a little bit more, honestly. So it was exciting, but like anytime you get to be part of a game, like a game-winning field goal, like as time expires, it's just like an insane amount of excitement when you see that ball go in. And so we had one against the Browns and against the Cardinals, and then also my rookie year, the first time we played the Chargers, Austin was out there on punt return. So like I got to like actually line up against like one of my best friends from high school, and after one of the punts, like he actually ended up like on me, blocking me, and it's like kind of on my back a little bit, and I was telling him that he's got to be careful, or just telling him how he's got to be careful. He's going to draw that flag, and but yeah, so that was really cool. The game against the Jets last year was absolutely insane. Just how we were able to come back with, gosh, what was there, like 10 seconds left in the game, or 11 seconds, and Ruggs just broke free, and just kind of shows never stop fighting, never stop swinging, whatever. So yeah, there have been some pretty cool moments that I'm really proud to be a part of.
Yeah, man, that's awesome. I can imagine the hype of the last second win. That's just, dude. I don't even play, and I get up for that type of stuff.
Right.
So again, speaking of Austin, Gridiron Gaming Group.
Right.
You big gamer, I see.
Yeah, I try to tell myself I am.
If I get on the sticks, I like to tell myself too, but I'm just straight garbage. So if I ever get on, I tell all my buddies and stuff, I'm like, if I'm going to play, you need to understand. It's just like golf.
This
I'm
is
going to
for
make
fun.
it.
We're not here for.
Exactly.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
This isn't, I'm not playing for money, bro. Like we're going to have some fun. Like with golf, it's the same thing. If I make it, let's just understand I'm trash, but I'm there for you guys.
Yeah, that's exactly how I am for golf too. If I'm close to 100, it's a good day for me. Like, I'm just like,
see, you say that close to 100. I don't even know what that means. That's how bad I am. If I can get from the green to not the green, but the tee box to the green, I'm Gucci. If I'm anywhere between, hang it up. I'll just pick up the ball and throw it. What's
right there with you.
So you're a bit of a gamer. What's at least we like to think so. What kind of games do you like to play the most?
So mostly I've been into shooters for the most part. Like I've started my stream. A lot of what I did early on was Warzone, and I like kind of those shooters, the battle royale. That's all the rage right now. I have a lot of fun with those, and it's kind of been fun interacting with my community through those too, honestly. But I play a little bit of sports games. I kind of have a little beef with Madden over my overall rating. So I play it a little bit. It's fun, but I get smacked. And really, my addiction right now is Rocket League. Like that game is like it's enough of a sport game that it's like really competitive, but it doesn't feel too sporty to where I'm like going to work every day. And it's just like it's so like mechanically challenging, and it just kind of bugs me that I'm not great at it. So it gives me something to work on.
So Rocket League, for those including myself, what game is that? What can you explain the game to us a little bit? Is it the one with the cars and the soccer ball?
Yep. It's essentially a giant soccer ball.
Okay.
You got like little essentially remote control cars that go flying through the air, and you're just playing soccer with.
Yeah.
It's if you haven't played it, I'd recommend giving it a shot. It's incredibly frustrating because like there's not really another game like it because like shooters, are pretty much all the same, where like controls are the same and it carries over pretty well. Just nothing carries over to that game. So you just feel stupid as you play it, but it's awesome.
I'm a friend of the show, T-Pain, is a big time gamer. And that's one of the games that if you're on Twitch or anything and he's actually playing it, man, I don't know if you've gone to his Twitch, you got to check it. It's so funny.
I've seen his opening raps and stuff when he goes live. But
yeah, shut it down. That dude is unreal. It's unreal, and he makes those like on the spot. Like it's crazy.
He's a very gifted artist.
Yeah, he is. So speaking of Mr. Payne, there was a question that I asked him whenever he was on the show, because he's again a huge gamer. If you were allowed one game to play for the rest of your life, which would it be?
Oh no.
I know this one's you got to kind of shut it down with this stuff.
See, I would say Warzone if the game actually wasn't super buggy and full of cheaters. But I don't know. Like, I like Rocket League a lot. I just don't know if I'm going to get tired of it. Like,
right.
I don't know. Or, okay, I'm gonna do a throwback because like I actually play this game like once every pretty much like once or twice a year. Like whenever I meet up with a buddy from high school. It's the old school Battlefront 2, like the Star Wars game.
Let's go.
Like played it on the original Xbox.
Yeah.
What whenever we get together, we play it, and we'll play it for like 8 hours straight, just like going at each other, and like it's always a great time every time I do it. So I think that'll stand the test of time.
I got you, man. Yeah, it's like that, and remember the old N64? That's probably one of my favorite consoles. But the GoldenEye. GoldenEye is a huge
GoldenEye was great. Yeah, in college, I actually made a Nintendo 64 emulator, and we got GoldenEye on it. So while everyone was in meetings during training camp,
seriously,
the specials would be in the players' lounge playing GoldenEye.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Dang, man, that's insane. That's dope. So we're almost finished here. I've got a quick question for you as well, just the last two here. What is it like being in the locker room and having Coach Gruden in there? Knock on wood if you're with me. Just how is it having Coach Gruden on that field and in the locker room and in the meetings and everything with you? I hear he's just an awesome guy.
Yeah. Honestly, it's everything you'd expect. Like he's what you see on TV, but amplified by like 10. Like, he loves football so much. Like he's very candid on TV. He's a little bit more vulgar behind the scenes.
Sure.
But very candid. He just freaking loves football, and he likes being around people that love football too. Like we're out there during OTAs, and like he's running around acting like the safety and like dropping down before the play, and like he's up against Darren Waller acting like he's gonna cover him, and just like,
yeah,
he's just freaking grinning from ear to ear the whole time too, just having the time of his life. So he loves football, and it's contagious, and it just makes it exciting to be around. It just makes it a fun environment to be in.
Yeah, man, I love Gruden. He's one of my favorite coaches. I've got to try and get him. I've been trying to get him on the show, man. He is tough to get a hold of.
I bet. Yeah.
Shout out D-Wall as well, man. I know y'all have a lot of talented players on your team, not just football. Like you got some, like Max Crosby can spit.
Yeah, so can Darren. Yeah, Darren dropped an album. Like, yeah, he's always working on his music. Like when we travel and stuff, he just got his headphones on, just kind of sitting there in the plane, just working on some beats. And yeah, we got people all over or doing stuff in all different sorts of industries. And we got Alec Ingold out there changing the world, teaching kids about finance, and like we're just doing a ton of incredible things.
That's huge, man. That's huge. Yeah. Darren, he just dropped his new single yesterday or 2 days ago. Stop Me.
Did he? I gotta check it out. I'm gonna see
the beat and everything. It's insane, man. It's awesome.
Yeah, he's got some good stuff.
Speaking of which, you were just talking about Alec Ingold and everything, like what they do outside. I mean, are there any outside passions that you have besides, outside of football and everything that you can tell us about?
Yeah. So I mean, we already kind of went over the gaming side. As far as just like hobbies and stuff, like I have a dog that I love being around, and he's a black lab, and he's 8 years old, but he still acts like a puppy and has a ton of energy and gets to be a little much sometimes, but it's awesome, and I want to trade it for anything. I'm actually kind of into rocketry a little bit. In college, I was part of a team that we built a rocket to carry like an 8-pound payload to 10,000 feet. So we had built like a, I think it ended up being like 110 pound rocket. And I'm really interested in that stuff. And when I'm done with football, I kind of want to get back into it a little bit. I'm trying to get into the hobby side of it right now. There's a place outside of Las Vegas that they go and do launches at. So I'm thinking about getting certified to do it.
Are you talking about Area 51 or what, man?
I can't say.
So you mean to tell me that you're basically you're a legit rocket scientist? That's what you're working for?
Rocket engineer, but yeah.
To me, I don't know the difference, man. I'm not at that level.
I obviously don't know everything about it, but I learned a ton my senior year working on that, and it was like the first like engineering project I had that I just I went and I'd work in the lab for 10 hours a day on it, like on top of doing all my stuff training for football. And like, I didn't care at all because I was just having the time of my life doing it. Yeah. So yeah, it's awesome. It's a lot of fun.
That's incredible, man. I've just never realized that a football player, like, and it's a terrible thing to like a football player that's into rocketry. That's sick.
Right. Yeah. We also made it exciting because every now and then we'd have a rocket that would blow up while we were testing it. Yeah, it had like 100 pounds of aluminum ending up 300 yards away in the blink of an eye. So we're like, shit, cool. We got away with that one.
Dude, lucky nobody got hit with some shrap, dude. Like,
yeah, we took precautions and we were behind stuff, but like you don't know how much damage that's going to do to your barriers. So
damn.
Yeah.
All right, man. Before I let you go, one more thing. As you know, I am a big advocate for fantasy football. Not a lot of NFL players care for it. We've got a league for charity called the Pace League. We've got Darren Waller is in it. T-Pain, Hugh Jackson, Young Cat, a lot of people, a lot of NFL, NFL football, fantasy football analysts. It's a lot of fun. Have you ever played fantasy football, and what are your thoughts?
I used to love fantasy football in high school and college. Like,
Oh, cool.
I was all about it. I haven't really played since I got to the NFL, just because like I don't get a chance to really watch the games or keep up with the waiver wire. I'm like struggle enough like keeping up with what's going on our team, let alone 31 other teams, and looking at all the matchups and stuff. That being said, I do usually do like a fantasy league, or I guess I've only done it 1 year, but I do a fantasy league on my Twitch stream, or kind of with that community. So like, I love fantasy football, and I don't know if that was an invite or not, but
well, funny you should say that. I know you're very big into with the Fletcher Foundation. I was going to see if next season we have a league going on this year. We've got 14 teams already, but for next season, would you be interested in being involved in the Fletcher Foundation? You can represent the Fletcher Foundation for the charity that we donate to.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Let's go. Ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. That is an invite sent to Trent Sieg and an acceptance, whatever. He accepted. Can't go back now. That's what's up, man. Awesome. Welcome to the league.
That'd be great.
That's awesome, man. Well, Trent, thank you so much for being on the show. Thank you so much for the, coming into the league for next season. If we have somebody drop out, I'll try and get you in this season, but we've got 14 teams now. We're going to try and bring it down a little bit next season for sure.
Once you get past 14 teams, those rosters start getting a little thin.
Real thin, man.
You got to go to like the third running back on the roster and like hope they have a day where they just pop off or vulture a touchdown. And
yeah, dude. But thanks a lot, buddy. It was a pleasure to meet you, man.
Yeah.
Have a great rest of your day, brother. And I'll definitely keep in touch, and we'll get everything sent out to you here pretty soon. Okay.
All right. Sounds great. You have a good one.
You too, buddy.